Now we're going to be sewing the patch pocket on the back of the shorts. You can see there's a little patch
And I've actually
pocket
just
there.
realised that I didn't put a row of stitching across here. So we will have an additional row of stitching here which will hold the hem in place as well. Okay, so we've got our back. This is the back leg of the short, and it has a dart, so you should have 2 notches in the waist and a drill hole down the bottom here. On men's pants, usually that dart is smaller and shorter, but because the proportion between waist and hip is bigger on a on a woman, it's usually a longer dart, so we're not shortening it. Okay, so to sew the dart, we have the drill hole, so match the notch at the top and the drill hole at the bottom, and we're going to sew, as usual, 1 centimetre past the drill hole. Okay, so a nice straight line, not swinging in, so that, imagine sort of that being the flow through that line there. Okay. And I'll just give this a quick press, so I'll press it towards the centre back, and we'll get onto the pocket. Okay, we're just pressing the dart. So the back darts always get pressed towards the centre back, and centre back is with the crutches. When you're pressing a dart, make sure it's nice and flat, and you can lift the base up, so you actually push into the dart, so that you don't get a pleat here. Because sometimes if you just push it like that, you get a pleat at the bottom, and the pleat will run all the way down to here. And you can see now that that's pressed, it's nice and round to go over the bottom. Okay, so we've got our pocket here at the back. It's got a little bit of a V at the bottom. You should have a notch which indicates the hem at the top. So if you want to, you can fold it there, and you could take this to the iron if you wanted to and give it a press, or you can use your nail. In the calico, it seems to press quite nicely. So what we're just going to do is run a row of stitching across here to hold this down. So just on the edge of the overlocking, and so it's just on the outside, so 1 row of stitching. Now with the back here, we actually have, I'll just put there's a drill hole there, and there's a drill hole there, so 2 drill holes in the back. And the idea with the drill holes is that once we have our 1 centimetre turned back on the pocket on each side, the drill hole should sit 0.5 in from the edge of the pocket. Well, this is perhaps a little bit smaller, but as long as both drill holes are covered, that's your guide. And then actually move it up a little bit as well, so that the drill hole is completely covered. So you can actually, once you've got that position, you can pin it in place to hold it on both sides. But pin it so that you can actually, you can still get this edge turned under. So when I turn the edges, actually again, if you really want to, you could iron those edges under if you wanted to. Now the way that I'm going to do this, I'm going to start here, I'm going to go up, across, and then down around the other side, and that just gives you a bit of extra support, so that you've got a bit more support there when you're putting hands in your pockets, and it's the top edge doesn't get ripped or doesn't pull away. So just check, and as you're coming down the side, you get about halfway, because there is this slight fullness here because of the dart, so we need to make sure that the fabric is nice and flat underneath the pocket. So when you get about halfway, actually just work on your next turn back, so that you can get down to some nice sharp corner, and then flick around. And actually I'm a little bit there, so if you can actually, remember you can lift the foot up and reposition the needle if you want to get right into that corner, so you keep a consistent pin stitch as you go along. So again, I'm sort of making sure this is nice and flat, and then I fold under my next section here.
How much does the fold under?
It's 1 centimetre all the way around, and it gives you a really definite point there, so make sure that you've got a definite point, and not, that it's not a little, doesn't go flat or something. And then over here, so again, tuck that under. Okay, so we'll run up to the top here. When we get up to the top, we'll go across 1, 2, I think it's 3 stitches across, and then turn, and then back down, and then do a back tap. Okay.
Okay.
So
Nice.
it looks very obvious in black, but you know, if you're doing it in a matching thread colour, it won't be quite that obvious. And so yeah, this row of stitching here is just to support that corner. Okay, there's a patch pocket done.